Hey everybody, this is Shad Sullivan coming to you from the headwaters of Bitter Creek, Archer County, North Texas. We have to talk. State officials will be assisting to help identify potential alternative markets if a producer is unable to move animals and, if necessary, advise and assist on depopulation and disposal methods. Ladies and gentlemen, we are plowing under vegetable crops from coast to coast. We are euthanizing millions of chickens. We are aborting sows and burying feeder pigs. We are dumping milk by the hundreds of thousands of gallons, and now they are preparing us to depopulate the fat cattle ready to harvest because of a bottleneck created by the effects of COVID. This thing hasn't been created by COVID, but the effects of COVID and the logistics therein. We are in trouble. Our food supply is in trouble, and I am appealing to producers and consumers across the nation to start calling. Yesterday, the first shipment of imported beef from the country of Namibia hit the shores of the United States of America. And yet this morning, they are telling us to prepare to euthanize harvest-ready cattle. Am I the only one that sees a problem in this? It is time we get the American people back to work. It is time we get money flowing. It is time we get food on the shelves. Because if you're not concerned about this food supply problem, you better be. We have a huge supply and demand of food across this nation. We can feed the world ourselves, and yet we're destroying our harvests. At the same time, we are importing beef from other countries, beef that is less regulated than our beef, less safe, not as high quality of product, and yet it's happening. At the same time, they are preparing for us to euthanize our harvests. Does that make sense to America? For the last 10 years, we have been pressed to be sustainable. I've said all along, sustainability is a fraud. And right now, we're being forced to destroy our harvests. That doesn't sound like sustainability to me. It is time we get back to work. It is time the American people force the government to listen to us. We are of, by, and for the people. This is not Nancy Pelosi's country. This is not Donald Trump's country. This is your country, and you're going to go hungry. We must get regional and local packing houses up and going. Do we have to have those big packing plants? You bet we do, and they need to be running right now. You as a consumer are in trouble. My dad told me years ago the best thing that would happen to America is if everybody had to sit in the dark, cold, and hungry, and that would wake them up. Well, I think it's coming. We're in a dangerous position, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get going on this today, not tomorrow, today. You need to be calling your legislators. We need to be opening up the country. Your food supply is in danger. Ranchers are going broke every day. We're doing all we can to stay here. We are in crisis in America. This is a crisis. This is a national crisis. And everybody's just sitting back enjoying their time off, enjoying that $1,200, not knowing that overnight you're going to go hungry. It's coming. My apologies for my tone. I'm worried about my country.
Man, giving our praises to the Most High, Yahweh, by Hashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. And, just taking a look at that video, just showing it's definitely time for our people, for Yahshua all to stand strong. We definitely got to stand strong in the face of adversity, right? Stand strong on the word of the Most High is paramount now more than ever, So we can't forsake the Father, right? If we can't forsake the Father, otherwise the Father will forsake us. Okay. It's going to be some turbulent times coming up here. Yeah, famine is on the way. That's coming. Food supply shortages, right? We saw it in the early stages of COVID-19 where stores were just, dry, nothing on the shelves. It's starting to play out, so it's starting to come back a little bit, starting to settle down a little bit as far as like food being in the stores or whatnot. You can find items more readily available. But where I live, you go to the supermarkets and all of the stores, there's on the primary items like milk, eggs, and butter and meat items. Hey, no more than two items, right? One particular store I go to, no more than 4 canned goods of each food item. So 4 canned goods, no more than 4 cans of peas, no more than 4 cans of string beans. Not that I eat that stuff anyways. That's just for, putting up a little bit of storage for the food, whatnot, for the family. But normally I get fresh vegetables or frozen vegetables, but that's just how they're rationing out the food these days. So we know that the food shortage, it's not really even coming either. It's already here. Okay. Especially with the meat packing plants that have shut down or whatnot. So there's a lot of chaos going on, but us being in this truth, we definitely have to stand strong and forsake not the Father, because we don't need him to forsake us. Right. So I'm just going to get a couple precepts here. I'm going to hit us off with Colossians. We're going to go to the book of Colossians. Salaki, the book of Colossians, chapter 1, verse 21. Colossians 1:21 through 24. And you that were sometime alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now hath he reconciled in the body of his flesh through death, to present you holy and unblameable and unreprovable in his sight. If ye continue in the faith, grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature which is under heaven. Wherefore I, Paul, am made a minister, who now rejoice in my sufferings for you, and will and fill up that which is behind of the afflictions of Hamashiach in my flesh for his body's sake, which is the church. So Hamashiach Yahushua, he laid down his life for you, right? So you have absolutely no right to give up in this walk, right? To turn back from the plow. Okay. I mean, blood was shed for you. Okay. So we don't have the right to become fearful, to take Esau's mark in order to get a morsel of bread to eat for the day, right? In order to be able to buy, sell, and trade. Okay. So we have to stand strong. We can't let fear invade our mind. Okay. We know tough times are coming. All right. But man, Yahushua laid down his life. All right. The most unique son of the Most High. We can't let that sacrifice be commonplace. We have to honor that sacrifice and work even harder to obtain his kingdom. Okay. Let's go to Nahum. Let's go to the book of Nahum, chapter 1, and we'll do verse 2 through 6. Power is jealous, and the master revengeth. The Almighty revengeth and is furious. The Almighty will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Most High is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Most High hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. He rebuketh the sea and maketh it dry, and drieth up all the rivers. Bashan languisheth, and Carmel, and the flower of Lebanon languisheth. The mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence, yea, the world and all that dwell therein. Who can stand before his indignation, and who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. So we ought to be in fear of forsaking our end of the bargain, right? Our end of the covenant that we made with the Most High. Because his fury, his indignation, hey, it's prepared to be poured out in full, and you don't want no parts of that, man. Okay? He will not at all acquit the wicked. Okay, so we can't turn from this righteous work, turn from righteousness and become wicked. It's a no-go for us, right? We got to keep on working, man. Keep on striving, keep on standing strong in this truth. Let's go to Luke. I'm not going to be before you long, Yashua. Let's go to Luke 9. And let's go to the last verse, 62. Luke 9 and 62. And Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. Right? So the plow represents work. What work? The work that we put in with this truth, from being on the highways and hedges teaching. You see the brothers out there on the corners and on the streets teaching and whatnot, to ministering online, right? Home ministries, just plain on living out the commandments in front of your family, in front of your friends. You know, you're observing the high holy days. You're wearing your fringes. You're, keeping the Shabbats and the new moons and so on and so forth. You go out to the restaurants with co-workers or whatnot, and you're observing the dietary laws, right? That's part of the work. So once we put in this work, we cannot turn back, right? We cannot go back to our filth, to our vomit. Okay? We're chosen for this, right? He chose us. We didn't choose him. Okay? All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians 16 and verse 13. 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. Watch ye, stand fast in the faith, quit you like men, be strong. Let all your things be done with charity. So it's time for the so-called black man, the Hebrew man, right, to stand up, to not be afraid of his woman. Okay? To not be afraid of his woman, right? And to lead himself, first and foremost, himself and his woman and his children in the faith. Get your household in order. Set boundaries of righteousness within your household. Set law, set order in your household. And that right there, if we were able to do that across a grand scale, right? That Israelite man stands up and he sets order in his household, right? He rules over his woman, not in a tyrannical way, in a righteous way. And he takes no slack, takes no shorts from that woman when it comes to righteousness. You're not going to be keeping Feast of Dedication and she putting up a Christmas tree, right? But just to have that solidarity as men across the board, that would solve 90% of Israel's problems right there. Right there. It all starts with you. So-called black man, Israelite man. It all starts with you, right? And just having that code of conduct that, hey, when you leave, you get sick of my rules because we're going to keep these commandments. You can't just leave me and go to the next man because he's going to be doing the same damn thing. Right? That's being on code. That's having culture. That's what we're missing. Right? That's what we're striving to get back. Okay? Our heritage, our culture was taken away from us. Jeremiah 17:4. Right? But we're working and striving to get that back. And we have to stand strong and not be weak and not let it go, even in the face of adversity. Hard times coming up. We don't care. Keep doing his work. Keep the faith in the Most High, through Hamashiach Yahushai, right? And Just have the faith that them chairs are going to deliver us in the end. Okay, let's go to Ephesians. Salaki, Ephesians 6, verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of power, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. The armor of the Most High is what will keep us protected from false doctrines, right? Keep us protected from the wishes of wicked family members, right? Whatever their wicked wishes may be, to see you involved in being persuaded by the adversary, who uses our family members, right? Convince you to come to your niece's christening at her church. Oh, you're her uncle, and I want you to be the godfather of the baby, and you're her only uncle, you're my only brother. Just come to the church for the christening. Just take a couple pictures. You ain't got to stay for the sermon. Nah, man. No. We got to be strong, right? Because those are spirits using little sis that wants you to come to her baby's christening, right? Those are spirits using auntie and big mama who say, oh, just come by and get a plate on Thanksgiving. Okay. It's just some food. No, that food's been slaughtered to demons. Okay. Right. It's spirits, demons that's using auntie to tell you to come out to the 4th of July barbecue. Oh, we're not really celebrating the 4th. We just, getting together because everybody's off. And we just want to have some food and have a cookout. I haven't seen you in a while. Just come on by. Right? Those are the wishes of your family members who are being used by the adversary. You have to put on the whole armor of the Most High and withstand those darts and stand strong. Right? So that you can be protected when the famine comes, when there's no food on the shelves. Okay? When the water is filthy, when there's all hell breaking loose out here, okay? The Most High keep those vagabonds and those gangs and army of evil individuals from coming together and pillaging and kicking in your door, okay? And raping and assaulting the women that's in your house, daughters, wives, whatever. Taking your food, your supplies, and killing you. Okay? You stand strong right now, the Most High is going to stand strong for you and protect you from them things that are going to be coming. So we must stand strong. Right? Right? We got to resist the evil in order to gain the reward. Right? Resist the evil in order to avoid the coming punishment. Okay? We got to be found worthy to escape. Right? Let's go to Hebrews. A couple more scriptures and we out. Let's go to Hebrews. Book of Hebrews, chapter 4, verse 11 through 12. Man, that famine is coming. That's going to be some sick times, man. There's some sick ass individuals out here that's waiting for times like that too, man, to get their rocks off. Right? To run up in people's houses. Right? I personally know people. Someone has actually told me to my face that I ran into that, hey, if the food goes out, there's no food in the shelf, I'm running up in somebody's house. I'm like, damn, man. I mean, just the mentality that our people have. And he was Jake, yeah. Right? And you best believe he's gonna run up in another Jake's house. So Jake, during Jacob's trouble, Jake, he gonna be fighting two different battles, man. He gonna be fighting battles from the other wicked 2/3 Jakes, and from Esau and the other heathens. It's going to be a horrible time. All right. But you believers, right? You that's faithful to this truth, you stand strong and see the salvation of the Most High. Hebrews 4:11. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Right? So labor, work the law, and be a witness to the truth so that, you don't fall back into the world. Okay? We got to work for that rest. All right? And this word is sharp, man. So this word can slice and dice and it knows the thoughts and intents of men. Yo, you have doubts and weaknesses coming up in your mind, get into your scriptures. Right? Get into your word to slice and dice the wicked thoughts that's coming into your mind. Right? It works for you too. All right? We got to stand strong. Okay? You know what else we got to stand strong in? We got to stand strong in correcting the wicked, right? Especially amongst our people. All right? That's what we're here to do. Right? To be judges on this earth. To live righteously and to correct and rebuke, right? Until the Most High has found that number of his. Until he's sealed that elect. Right? Maybe your words has pierced the heart of some individual. They done saw a bunch of YouTube videos. They done walked past a couple camps on the streets, but your words and your example was able to affect them. Right? And their wicked hearts changed. And now they're part of the elect. That's how the Most High work, man. Right? You got to be able to correct the wicked and stand strong on that. Let's go to John 7. The book of John. Salaki. The book of John, chapter 7. Verse 24. John 7:24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. All right. This is Yahushua talking. Yahushua commands us to judge, but to judge with righteous judgment. All right. So the wicked, they got to be corrected and rebuked, but with righteous judgment. Okay. So you can't judge a neighbor on committing adultery and you popping other niggas' wives too. You can't do that. But you're living a clean life. You're not committing adultery. You could tell your neighbor, hey, man, don't go pop another dude's wives, man. Right? You can get killed. Her husband come back and kill you. But most importantly, the Most High put you to death. He may use her husband to do that. Or somebody else. Right? Brothers get put to death all the time, man. You think like, oh, he was a good guy. He never did any harm to anybody. But you don't know the type of life that man was living. Or what sins he was committing, and what sins the Most High was tired of. And he just got rid of his ass because he's no use to his people. He's not going to be a servant for him, so he's done with them enough. Take that spirit up out of here. Right? So this is the master commanding us, right, to judge with righteous judgment. So what is righteous judgment? Let's go to Deuteronomy, oldie but goodie. What is righteousness? Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. We're supposed to judge with righteous judgment. Let's see what righteousness is. Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High our power, as he hath commanded us. Right? So righteousness is observation of the commandments. That's righteousness. Okay. Right? Not because you don't drink beer or liquor or wine, Christian. Okay, that makes you righteous. But, y'all, the church is a whorehouse. You're worshiping on Sunday. You're keeping all these pagan holidays. You're eating more pork. Eat more pork than a fish, drink water. Okay. sucking down that swine, breaking all sorts of dietary laws and harming your body, pastor banging out people's wives in the congregation. Man, get out of here, man. I was a part of that church, man. Them churches are disgusting. Seriously. Right? Righteousness is observing the laws, the commandments of the Most High. You'll find them between Genesis and Deuteronomy. That is the Torah. Torah means instructions. These are the instructions that the Most High gave his people. Okay. A couple more scriptures and we're done, I promise. 2 Timothy. Let's go to 2 Timothy. Is that right? Yeah, out there. Salaki, y'all. 2 Timothy 4, 1-5. I charge thee, therefore, before the Most High and before the Master Hamashiach Yahushai, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort, with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. Reprove, correct, rebuke, especially in this wicked generation, right? They listen to the fables, right? As opposed to sound doctrine, okay? Confess with your heart and believe with your mind that Jesus is Lord and you shall be saved. That's all it takes, right? They don't listen to sound doctrine, right? So you have to rebuke and correct, right? One, for their own edification, so that they have a chance for salvation, and two, as a witness against them. So when they stand before judgment, hey, you can't say that you didn't understand this truth, you didn't hear this truth at all, because my servant on this day gave you this truth. And the Most High shows it to them and brings it back to the remembrance of their judgment. Right? So no excuses. You're doing the work of the Most High. Stand strong and do this work. Right? Let's go to Titus. Last scripture. This is it. Promise. Titus chapter 2 and verse 11. Titus 2 and 11. For the grace of the Most High that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lusts, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in the present world, looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great power and our Savior, Hamashiach Yahushai, who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no man despise thee. So stand strong. Teach your people to stand strong. Teach them to live righteous lives. Okay? Rebuke with the authority that Hamashiach has given us. Okay? So with that, I hope this lesson has been edifying. Peace and blessings. Yashua Allah. I'm out.